All right, so some of you might have taken Latin because you thought it would help you with your English vocabulary. Raise your hand if that was true for you. Okay, raise your hand if you thought that Latin would help you with English grammar and writing. Okay. How many of you signed up for Latin because you thought it would be interesting? Oh, okay. Honestly, I wasn't expecting any hands for that one. So, okay. Which you found out very quickly was wrong. I'm actually a grumpy old lady. All right, so here's our topic for today. Shh. Guys, no, don't do that. No. Teachers are people. So Latin bases, okay, translate into English verbs. Okay, it is no secret that Latin and English are indeed highly related. All right, a lot of English vocabulary comes straight from Latin. If you've taken Miss Scoville's class, you would know this because she does go over things like this. If you haven't, then it doesn't say. I hope so. All right, so here's the deal. One point is that bases of Latin verbs come into English with only minor changes. All right, so what that means is a Latin word is going to eventually be, accepted into English, and the word itself is going to only change a little bit. All right. Now, the type of word I'd like to talk about today is the infinitive. All right. In Latin, how do I identify an infinitive? What are the common uniting factors among them, Zach? Yes. Okay. And what are those endings? Do you remember? Good. Okay. So we're going to write that. So the infinitive endings that we need to know are ARE, ERE, ER, oh, nope, ERE, and IRE. Okay. All right. Now, what's nice about these, okay, is that you can find the base by dropping these. All right. Yes. Okay. So for example, nope. Excitare. All right, you've just seen that word. Excito, excitare, excitavi, excitatus. What does it mean? Who remembers from the vocab study that we just did? Timjin. To arouse or to wake up. Yes. Okay. Now, based on the rule that we just talked about, that's supposed to be an arrow. I guess we'll just do that. All right, if we drop the ARE, somebody spell out what my stem is or my base. Okay, good. Yeah. Okay, now, once you've got your base, sometimes all you got to do in English is just add E. Okay, and that gives you this word, excite. Okay, another example. Oops. We've got the word. You've seen this one plenty of times. Descendere. Okay, what does descendere mean? To climb, yeah, to climb down. Okay, now, based on the rule that we just talked about, all right, we're going to get rid of our infinitive ending. What is my stem or my base. Can someone spell it out for me? Zach, what do we got? Yes. Okay, so sometimes there's no E that needs to be added. There's just no change at all, right? To descend in English just means to go down. Okay? Let's do one more example. All right, so the first example, you add an E, so there's a slight change. The second example, there's nothing else added, so there's no change. The third example that I'm going to give you, there's going to be a little bit more of a change than you would think. But it still looks to be related, like you'll see the relationship. So the word, hey? Ooh, It doesn't work with everything. It doesn't work with every word, but it works with some. So that's why I'm trying to show you like the patterns of some words. Let's try this one. Okay, exclamare. All right, what's my stem going to be, or my base? Someone spell it out. Amy, can you spell out my stem for me? Good. Okay, now, in English, I wouldn't say exclam, right? And I don't spell exclaim by adding an E at the end. How do I spell exclaim? Yeah, okay, so it becomes exclay with that I. You just pop that I in there, and that's what becomes the English word. Okay, the reason that sometimes happens is because there are also words that go through French and come into English, right? So it was a Latin word, went through French, came into English, or it was a Latin word, went through Old English or Anglo-Saxon and came into English, modern. Leggy. I can't think of any, to be honest with you. Lect. Because oh, yeah. Okay, so lego legere, it's a third conjugation. It means to read, but a secondary meaning and a common meaning is to choose. To choose, right? So think of the four principal parts: lego, legere, legi, lectus. When you elect somebody, you are choosing out of a pool of something.
That is so far-fetched.
Yes, yes, it is. That's from lex legis, the word for law. Yeah, so and that's the tricky thing too, and that's what you guys need to be aware of. You don't need to write this term down, but you should be aware of it. Sorry. Okay, the term is false cognates, okay? These are words in another language that look like they could come from a Latin word that you like. So for example, like legislate, right? Like you might think, oh, that comes from lego legere, right? It's got a similar stem, but it doesn't. It comes from the Latin word for law, which is lex legis, right? So sometimes just be careful when you're talking about derivatives. I wouldn't say that it's far-fetched. I think it's just because remember what I told you about Latin vocabulary, right? It's unique in that one word can mean multiple, like a lot of different things, and you as the translator have the power to figure out what it is. Okay. Amy, what are you looking at right now? English. You have a quiz? So why are you doing other work in my class? Because this isn't important? Slady don't like that. Don't do that. Put that away. Okay, I just yelled at my other class this morning because of the same thing. Don't be that class. Don't do it. Okay, when students do that, you're telling me that like my time is not important and you don't care. And that's when I get upsetty. Okay, so no. Those rumors are wrong. What? False cognates. Okay. So let's go through an exercise where you practice this. All right, I'm going to give you some infinitives, and you are going to turn them into English words. Whoops.
What if you can't spell?
Learn fast, bud. You can do it. You can do it. Oh, I'm sorry. Did you think you were going to school to not do work? That's cute. Okay. Yeah, it is. All right, so give it a try. Go through these, see what you can figure out. Yes. Like when people do other work in my class, it vexes me. I am agitated by it. Maybe I should. Maybe I should. Did you just mumble don't? Right, so either add an E or make a slight change, or some of them won't have any change. Okay, but essentially pull off the infinitive ending and yeah.
What are the rules to the changes that we can make? We go just get rid of that.
Well, see if you can figure it out. And if it honestly, the parameter is it an English word or is it not? Like you should be able to recognize it fairly quickly. And if not, you'll have learned some new words today. Yay. Yay. What? Maybe. To annoy. What is what? Number 3? Number 3? Okay, remember, Romans love compounds. So voco vocare looks like the word for vocal cords. You call somebody when you voco vocare. Now, when you re voco vocare, re means to do it again. So you are calling them back, recalling. So calling them back means to call back something or rescind something. So like, let's say I revoke my right to silence. That means I'm taking it back. So that is a word. What? To wander. But sometimes to wander can also mean to make a mistake. Okay, have y'all had enough time to think these through? Siri? I hope so. May you have the best of luck. Okay. All right, can I? Because Tim is tired. Hey, sleepy boy. Okay. Oops. Yeah. All right, let's go through these now. All right, so we're going to have extendere. Who can spell out my stem? Jade. Okay, right, so we got rid of dere and it just left us with extend. Okay, and that's exactly right. All right, now if we know extend, it literally means to stretch out. Okay, right, A or X means out of. Okay, so intendo tendere means to like reach. So if you're reaching out, you are stretching out, extend. That's what that means. Okay, that's how that works. So there's a lot of different things going on here. Nice hat. Okay, number 2, salutare. Genevieve, what is my salute? Good. Okay, so we got rid of the ARE and we've just added an E, meaning to salute. I mean, yeah, okay, and this just means to greet formally. Okay, next, revocare. Tiffany Jin. Yeah. Okay, this one goes through a little bit of a change here, right? Okay, so if we were to find our stem, we would have revoc, right? But that C is weird. Does Latin have a K though? No, but English does. Latin does not have a K, but that's why your name is Cicero. It's not Cicero, right? So there's no distinction between C, which could be soft, and K, which is always a hard sound. They do, but very rarely. Super rarely. They don't have the W. And they don't have the letter J in the way that you think about it. The I and the J, however, are interchangeable. Right, so for example, huh?
Well, it'd still be
Okay, so certain word that technically, yeah, technically yes. That I is technically a J. So for example, this word here, injuria, injuria. Okay, listen to the way that I'm saying it. Injuria. All right, that extra I in the middle, this one right here, how am I saying it? It's like a J sound. So technically, that is a J, and that's what means it's injured in Latin. Yeah. Oh, yeah, it does. I wonder if that's same language tree.
Could also be the reason for why it's called Kaiser.
Caesar, not Caesar, right? Caesar in the English, because I didn't say sneezer, I said Caesar.
Next time we go to order chicken Caesar salad, we say chicken. Chicken Kaiser salad.
No, because the guy that invented Caesar salad was actually a guy from like South America, I believe. Cesar was his name. It's not related to Julius Caesar at all. Trust me, I checked. Yes, Robert.
Oh, yeah, I was raising my hand. Why did when we brought over the English alphabet, when we brought the Latin alphabet to the English alphabet, why did we add new letters?
Because you have to remember, English is a combination of a bunch of different languages, and we borrow from other things. So English is technically a Germanic language, meaning like German and English are grammatically way more related than Latin and English are structurally, but vocabulary-wise, we have a lot of similar words. Oh, okay then. Well, yes. The word Kaiser does come from Caesar, the Latin word Caesar, Caesar. Right, because who was Caesar? He was like the highest of the high, and then all the emperors that followed after Caesar's time declared themselves a Caesar, like a Caesar, right? So like,
then their royalty was called the Kaiser,
and that's why like the Germans harken back to like imperial Rome when they had that structure. So like Kaiser kind of harkens back, right? So all of these, and think about it, like Rome did at some point kind of semi-conquer Germania or Germany, so there was an interaction linguistically there, but then Rome had to retract or revoke themselves, okay, pull out of Germany because they stretched too far, and then eventually the Germans came down and they conquered Italy, and that is in 410 AD when the Visigoths and Alaric conquered Rome. and Rome of the West officially kind of like fell, right? So it's like a double linguistic, I don't think that's a word, linguistic boundary, okay? Yeah, English is super weird. So number 3 is revoke. We change that C to a K, and you add an E, and we're golden, okay? And that just means to call back or to take back. It can also mean to cancel or annul something, right? If you annul a marriage, you'd make it not legitimate anymore. It's not a divorce. You can't annul a marriage that's official. Okay, rispondere. What do we get? Yeah. Yep. Okay, surgere. Yes. Okay, and that just means to rise up and forward. Well, think about, you're thinking of like a power surge or like an electrical surge. Think about what's happening when that occurs, right? The power rises so much that it shuts the power off, but that's just an application of the word. The word itself just means to rise up and forward. Repellere. Yes, that request repels me. To drive back. Okay, here's another one. Vexare. To vex. Yeah, means to annoy, which is what that request is doing to me right now. You're thinking of hex, and I don't know where that word comes from. Yeah, that one I'm not sure. To hex somebody, I'm not sure where that root is from. Tradere. Trade. Okay, and to trade really is just to exchange or barter. All right, but when you trade, you're like handing over goods in exchange for something else. Okay. Errare. This one's a tricky. Ooh, okay. No, because error is actually a noun. Error is a noun. All of these have been verbs. So to err, you might have seen this or heard this in humanities, right? To err is human. Seneca said that. To err is human. To err just means to make a mistake. Okay, so when I say to err is human, that means that, do humans make mistakes? Yes, and that is like the quintessential part of being human. You do make mistakes, and that's just it. Like, there's no way around it. Question.
Did the word error come from the word error?
Like this. How do you mean?
So error came from error.
Mm-hmm.
Did error come from error? Like
error. So there are nouns that can come from verbs, but not in the way that you might expect, and we will discuss that, but later. Yeah, so right now we're just talking about like verbs in Latin going into verbs in English. Okay, and lastly, ascendere. Ascend. Yep, to climb, like Miley Cyrus. Okay. What? What? It's the climb. Because there's always going to be another mountain, and you're always going to want to make it move. Okay, anyway. Any questions on this? Does this make sense? Sure? I hope so. Okay, your homework this evening is going to be twofold. I'm asking for two things. That vocab list that I handed you for chapter 8, please write out your list or flashcard and bring that to class on Thursday for me to visually check it in class for credit. And I'm also going to put an English exercise related to what we talked about today. I'll post it on the portal. Yep. Okay. Any questions on that? No? All right. Cool beans.